Broadcasting from our subterranean studios in beautiful Paradise Valley, Pennsylvania, it's Business and Brain Tumor Talk, a unique show with topics to educate, inspire, and implement. Without further ado, here's your host, Rick Franzo.
Broadcasting live from our subterranean studios. I'm here right behind my bar, actually. Business and Brain Tumor Talk. Welcome. I'm your host, Rick Franzo, and today the privilege is to introduce Carmine Corridore, CEO, Grand Poobah, leader of the pack, see the wolf behind him, of Underdog Cyber Defense. How's it going, Carmine?
Good, and of course the privilege is all mine.
The privilege is all on that side of the table. Gotcha. Underdog Cyber Defense. Why Underdog?
Why not?
Hey, next question. What made you choose Underdog?
The name, well, that's interesting. So I was looking for something that was brandable, I guess, to lack of a better way of saying it. When I started the business, I wasn't exactly sure where I wanted to take it. I wasn't sure if I was going to be on the consumer side or the commercial side. So I just wanted a name that everybody would recognize and stand out there. But, as I thought about it more, it actually meant a lot more to me than just that. Underdog being, we're the underdog, the root for the underdog, that type of thing. And that more or less became my underlying, I guess, cause, just to be that underdog, and it just kind of wove its way into the business, I guess, if that makes sense.
No, I like that. That's really good. Everybody roots for the underdog, like Rocky, right?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. How did your business start? Where were the humble beginnings? And how did you end up with Underdog Cyber Defense now as part of the evolution? So how did all this start?
So all this started, I guess the origin goes back about 20 years ago. I had a computer repair business from like 2002 to 2010. I closed it down, various reasons. There were just industry changes. The business itself wasn't doing well financially. My kids were younger, and I wanted to be present in their lives instead of trying to work a job. So I closed the business down. I went into employment with several companies, just trying to learn what has changed. And try to really pick up on that. And I really had no desire to go back into business for myself. I mean, that's really the truth of it. I was happy taking vacations, being with my kids, being with my wife, just going on vacation and doing things and just being in their life. Beyond that, so in 2016, I worked for a company, and I was doing pretty well there. I was pretty happy there. The ownership changed over, and within a year or so of that changeover, I was let go from a position that I was doing really well in, and there really was no reason for it. So at that point, fast forward, my kids are like, 18 and 16. And, we had a conversation as a family, and my wife and I decided that at this point, instead of trying to look for another employment, go ahead and just, start another business. That was basically the conversation. Like, do I look for another job, or do I go back on my own and try to make this work? And so the answer was go back on your own. And I haven't looked back since. It's been the best decision of my life.
How hard is it to be a business owner?
Pretty hard, I guess. Well, not. It's lonely at the top, I guess they say. Sometimes you don't want, especially when you're starting out and there's no, you don't have any employees and stuff like that. It's definitely hard to bounce ideas off of people. It's hard for, even when you do have employees, it's even hard for them to understand, kind of the struggles you're going through, making sure you pay payroll and making sure that you always have clients and stuff like that so that you can pay the bills, pay the employees and all that stuff. So it can get lonely.
It can, and that's what I see. Just as a side note, Carmine and I have been doing coaching professionally, involved in the coaching process for almost 6 years, pretty much right after you started your business in 2018, I think it was, right? And so 2019 is when we started, and right at the beginning. So I've seen the evolution. Really, it's not a Cinderella story, because there was a lot of challenges, I think, just like in any business that you would have. But when you started, your business was not called Underdog Cyber Defense, right?
Right. It was called Underdog Computer and Network Support.
Right. And so you did what at that time?
So at the beginning, again, because I wasn't exactly sure where I was taking the business, basically we did computer support, computer repair. We were working with both residential and commercial, businesses, doing that type of work. In about, I think, not too long after we started, about 2020, 2021, transitioned over to really more of an answer to what's been happening in the world. We started focusing on cybersecurity first. Really going into businesses with as an IT risk manager, talking to businesses about their vulnerabilities and all that stuff. So we transitioned away from consumers, and we transitioned. We 100% became business focused, and even still, it was more focused on that security first aspect of our company. We became more proactive. 100% proactive, I would say. Our team was redesigned from the ground up to support that function.
So you went from B2B and B2C to strictly B2B, right?
Yep.
You started to onboard people that kind of match that focus, and that's where your team is right now, and it's been growing. So you have 3 people with you right now. Talk about them, if you don't mind, for a moment, because you have an amazing team of people that are around you, for sure.
Yeah, I am fortunate. I mean, obviously, as you know, I didn't start that way. We definitely had challenges getting our employees, but I do have a fantastic team in place. Carlos and Oscar are the backbone of my operations at this point. They are they take care of all the back end stuff. So when you're putting a ticket or calling us or whatever, they're the guys that are handling those calls. They're the ones that are looking at your systems on the back end, patching the vulnerabilities. They're my everything at this point. I'm only part of operations from the very beginning. So my job duty has changed to I'm the chief strategic officer. So when I'm meeting with the new client, I'm the one who develops the strategies. I'm the one who's picking out the solutions and all that stuff to put in place. Oscar and Carlos are the ones who are basically executing that strategy and making sure that our clients are in line that way. And then just recently, we've added Shilky. She's our business growth development person. Her job is basically to go out there, connect with people, really push the brand forward, have people educate people on cybersecurity as well as who Underdog is, and just further those conversations. And altogether, like I said, we have a great team, a great vibe, and I would say a great culture here.
I couldn't agree more. And you went from working in your home to an office space, and now you've moved into a big office space with a kitchenette it has a conference
Yeah.
room, it has offices for everybody. So an amazing transformation. It came with a lot of hard work. It came with a lot of faith and you know, in what you're doing, and belief, and you know, a lot of strategy that was involved, but a lot of action, because strategy alone is not great. And something you said was really telling, is you have such a great culture there. And I agree. It's always a pleasure to come in and see you and the team over there in your offices at Underdog. If you can, cyber security, cyber defense. So we're in an election cycle here in the United States right now, but even all of the different things that are coming at businesses, emails and texts and things like that. And when people have kind of information, so they may have some people's vital personal information on their systems. What would happen if they were compromised by a cyber hacker?
So yeah, so a couple of things. I mean, the obvious is a financial burden. You know, so one of the things we do is when we meet with somebody is we educate them on what their vulnerabilities are, where their risks lie, because a lot of people don't really understand it, and we do it from for several reasons. One, because nobody really knows, nobody really buys cybersecurity, right? Unless you know, unless very, or I should say it this way: very little people will reach out and say, "Hey, I need to buy cybersecurity."
Right.
They usually call us for something else. So what we do is we go in and we educate them on you know what their vulnerabilities are. We do that by doing a cybersecurity risk assessment. Um, and then we do that because it's a business tool for them. It allows them to understand where their vulnerabilities are, what their risks are, what they're really looking at, so that they can make an educated business decision around how they want to manage that risk. Um, so where the risks lie, most people will, you know, like if I go to most businesses, I usually ask like, hey, do you think you have anything, you know, you have any risks? Do you think you have anything that, you know, a hacker would want, essentially, right? And the answer is usually no. It's usually we're too small, or we have, you know, we have all our apps in the cloud. We don't do anything on our computers. And when we do our risk assessment and we uncover, you know, all the vulnerabilities they have, like a lot of people don't realize, like computers that are older than, you know, 5 or 6 years are not supported by a manufacturer. Therefore, they're not getting the proper updates. Or they may have software that has been out of date and not being updated by the vendor. Or they may have networking equipment that's, you know, like 20 years old. And again, all that stuff just isn't being patched, and their entry points for a hacker to come in, you know, on top of the, you know, emails and all that stuff, where where the hackers can come in through email. So long story short, um, what it comes down to is it comes down to more than just the financial risk. Of course, that's part of it. You know, we let them know, like, hey, based on everything we found, this is, if you were hit with a cyber attack, this is how much that, you know, of a financial risk to your business, what that would look like. But on top of that, there's a reputation loss. What happens if your business gets hit with a cyber attack? What's going to happen to, you know, think about, you know, your current clients that may have been affected by it. What about future clients? Are they going to, you know, trust that you have fixed the problem and stuff like that? So, you know, on top of a financial loss, it's a reputation loss. And then on top of that, what we're finding is there could be fines if you're in a regulatory industry, and there could be lawsuits. We're seeing more and more lawsuits from people against businesses who have been hit with a cyber attack, you know, just because they didn't put the proper, you know, uh, controls in place. So we educate everybody on all that, and we do really find that it's an eye opener.
Let's talk about the loss of credibility. If you get hacked, okay, I don't know if I'm using the right terminology or not, but if somebody attacks your organization and vital information there, so aside from the revenue in the beginning, just on the, the feeling of being violated, right? So you're and this is happening quite often. You see it in the news. Big companies, hospital systems, things like that are being breached. Okay, so you had said something really important. They think that they're too small to be affected. And is there anybody that's too small? Is there a business that's too small for cyber security?
No, there isn't. And the myth is because they think they need to be targeted. That's why everybody thinks they're too small. And the reality is that when a cyber criminal, they'll go on the dark web, they'll buy a list of IP addresses or whatever. They'll buy some, like a block of IP addresses. They may be trying to target some big industry. And let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say they're trying to target some big industry in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. So they'll go and they'll find an IP block for that area, and then they'll just start using software to hit each and one of those IP addresses to kind of find a way in, a crack in the in the window, so to speak. Um, then they'll try to get in, and then they'll try to probe, and then they'll try to get further to see if there's any data that they could steal, and they're looking for personal information like social security numbers, driver's licenses, credit card information, routing number, you name it, health policies, anything. They don't really care what it is. But the point of it is they don't know who you are until they actually, they don't even know who you are. And they may not even really know who you are until after they've gotten everything off your computers. They frankly don't care. So you can have 2 computers, 4 computers, 400 computers. Data is big data is just is a money.
So besides the credibility and everything else, now we're talking revenue. So you're going to lose revenue because of what happened. But you said about lawsuits. Who has the ability, right? The wherewithal, right, to go and fight a major lawsuit because of being breached, right? So nobody has that in their budget for what that looks like. So businesses are going to be kind of beaten out of business because of somebody possibly in another country that has just been fishing,
Right.
casting the line. They saw that there was an opening, and they accessed the data, and that's it. That's all she wrote.
Yeah, that's it. And a class action suit or whatever. And your cyber insurance policies, they're only going to take you so far,
Sure.
and then the rest is on you.
So what do you suggest for a business, no matter what the size? Let's just say a mid-sized business or a small business that has anywhere from 1 to 2 to maybe a dozen computers or pieces of equipment. What would be your suggestion for what they should be doing to protect themselves?
Absolutely. I mean, first and foremost, I would say they really should get a risk assessment, a cybersecurity risk assessment, to understand what actually they need to protect. Like I think you may have said, or you hear this all the time. You don't know what you don't know. So the first step, I think, is to make sure that you get a cybersecurity risk assessment, understand where your vulnerabilities are, and then you can make decisions. With your IT provider, with your IT department, with someone like me, understanding what needs to be put in place in order to help protect you against, some sort of attack.
To get this cyber risk assessment, what's the investment that a business would have to make to have that done for them?
With us, it depends on the size of the company because what we're doing, we do a couple of things. We test our clients or our prospects team, meaning that first we'll do like a phishing attack to kind of gauge on how security aware people are. Then we'll do a scan on their computers, whether they're, you know, in a typical office space or they're remote. It doesn't matter. We'll check each one of their computers to see what kind of data lives on them. We'll take a look at their network, again, whether it's virtual or whether it's a traditional network. And then we'll just, based on what we're finding, we'll calculate what that financial risk looks like. So there's some work involved, is what I'm saying. So
yeah, absolutely. That's my point. Is it's not there's no. There's nothing what they're investing in is, being proactive. And so, it seems to me like having a cyber risk assessment done would just make sense.
Oh, absolutely. And the takeaway is a document. Again, we do it, and we would hope that you want us to do it, but the takeaway is that they have a document with everything that we found and our recommendations, and how they want to deal with that is a decision that we come to, whether they have a trusted provider that they want to take this to and say, hey, do X, Y, and Z, or they have an internal IT department that they may want to see if they can handle it. Same thing. But it's knowledge. Knowledge is key.
So what would be 3 things that you would want people to know about Underdog and how Underdog can partner with them to keep them safe, secure, in business, no lapses, not have lawsuits come against them, and that they're safe and secure, and their clients, personal and privileged information is safe and secure as well? What would 3 bullet points be that you would like to share with everybody today?
Well, give us a call. We do, a free strategy session. We'll come in, we'll have a discussion with you. It's not a technical discussion. It's a business discussion, see how your operations are. And then from there, we'll make a decision together whether it makes sense to do a cybersecurity risk assessment. And then, we'll present you our findings and present you with a solution to help, manage that risk that you have.
Mitigate the loss.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, excellent. And how can people get a hold of Underdog Cyber Defense?
You can either go to underdogcyber.com. You can give us a call at 570-243-9205, or if you just want to book a strategy session with us, you can go to underdog.contact, and just pick a date and time that works with you, and either I or Shilkes will be on a meeting with you.
Fantastic. Carmine, can't appreciate you giving us your time today. Very valuable information. The landscape is changing. We're not paper and pen anymore. We don't have beepers. We have phones. We have laptops. We are in the cloud, whatever that means. We have, a lot of people right now are doing a lot of business on their phones. A lot of people that are of a certain age, my age, don't understand everything. Carmine knows that because he bails me out more times than not. So if you're not too sure what you have going on with your system and how your information is being protected, give Carmine and his team at Underdog Cyber Defense a call. Carmine, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, Rick.
And this has been Business and Brain Tumor Talk, and we'll see you next time. Stay gold.